Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Mr. Omari Lewis back at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about high stimulation and shock content. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe, especially if you're an introvert. You need to subscribe to my channel right now, and make sure you hit that like button if you like this video right at the end, or you can hit that like button right now if you liked already what you just saw. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So let's talk about high stimulation and shock content. So high stimulation, what is high stimulation? So for the most part, high stimulation is pretty much anything that carries a very high amount of energy with it. So pretty much this can be an activity or this can be an environment. So an environment such as a concert, there's a lot of people there, they're screaming, they're singing, a lot is going on right there. Or perhaps you're at a game and you're sitting on the bleachers there, and there's a lot of people just making a lot of noise. They're cheering for their favorite team, they're cheering for their player, they want this player to do better, or maybe they're booing the other team because they don't like the team and stuff like that, right? So there's a lot of stimulation going on, a lot of energies, just bumping into each other when it comes to that type of environment. Maybe you're at a party and it's not necessarily a concert, but the DJ there, he has really big speakers, and so he's constantly mixing the songs, and the songs themselves are very stimulating, so they carry a very high amount of stimulation. So for the most part, there's going to be a lot of sounds, a lot of instruments, being played at the same time, and it's very there's just a lot of stimulation involved. And so that's really what I'm referring to, really, to high stimulation. So what's up with high stimulation anyway? Well, the thing is that introverts themselves, we don't enjoy high stimulation. And as a matter of fact, we don't need high stimulation in order to feel energized and to feel pumped, to feel motivated, to feel engaged, really. As opposed to most extroverts. If you're an extrovert, you're watching this video and you really enjoy all the activities that I just mentioned about high stimulation, and you actually seek them purposefully. If you can do them every single day, if that's something that you see yourself doing, like going to these things, going to concerts, events where there's just a lot of high stimulation, then you can almost guarantee yourself to be an extrovert, because extroverts need these type of activities. They need these type of environments, because like I said, extroverts for the most part, they tend to ping off other people's energy. So if everybody in that group, they're all putting out high stimulation because they're in a high stimulation environment, then for the most part you're going to get some of that as well. However, this only works for extroverts. If you put an introvert in there, what's going to happen is the opposite. Meaning that instead of feeling energized and pumped and everything, their energy is going to start to deplete and start going downhill real quick. Because as an introvert, we actually repel that type of energy. We don't want high stimulation. We don't want to be part of those high energy environments because they're just very energy consuming. It's just not part of who we are. So because of that, we're actually exerting energy to sustain, to support, to really handle and grind it out while we're there. Whereas opposed to extroverts, they pretty much let go, they have fun, they enjoy the moment. We as introverts, we have to put in some sort of energy. We have to actually put some strength in there in order to be able to cope with the situation, because at that point it sort of becomes a problem that we have to resolve really quickly, and we start to worry the longer we stay in that type of environment, which is very stimulating. It's very, very, very stimulating. So if you're an introvert right now, you're watching this video and you're like, yeah, I've been in these situations, I've been to these parties. Maybe you go to school, maybe you just came out of high school, or maybe you are in high school and you're watching this video and you're like, oh my god, yes. Maybe you're going to prom, maybe you're going to a party or something like that. Maybe not right now, since we got the entire pandemic going on, but who knows, maybe in the past, maybe in the previous grade, you were invited to all these group activities and you were just and they were very stimulating. There was a lot of energy going on there, and you for the most part, you were just starting to feel very suffocated. You started to feel oh shit, you start to feel very uncomfortable. And that's precisely why it is, because us introverts, we don't respond to that type of energy very well. We actually respond to low stimulation activities really well, whereas opposed to extroverts, when they face some sort of low stimulation, for the most part, they just sort of shut down. They get bored. They're desperately looking for the high stimulation once again. And so This is why you, as an introvert, perhaps you've tried to talk to other people, to extroverts, and for the most part they always tell you, like, why are you so quiet? Why are you so, like, soft in the way that you deliver your content? Why are you like this? Why are you like that? And it's like, you just don't understand. You feel like there's something wrong with you. You feel like you have to work on the way you deliver and the way you project your voice. And sure, you can actually work on that as an introvert, like I said, and I've personally worked on that, which is why I'm able to make the videos that I make right now, and I'm able to project the way I am right now, because I've actually put in some work to work on it. But this isn't something that I do naturally. This isn't the way I speak when I'm speaking to people, like on my day-to-day. I don't speak to them this way because it's not natural. You see, right now I'm doing it because you're on YouTube, you're watching other content, so I pretty much have to sort of compete for attention with those other channels that are trying to rob your attention. And for the most part, those other channels are ran by extroverts, and so their stimulation, the stimulation in their videos is very, very high. And so yeah, so there's that. But for the most part, like, it's not very common for me to talk this way in my day-to-day. It's actually kind of like I just don't do this. But unless, of course, I'm giving a presentation or I'm trying to explain something, then for the most part I'll raise my voice, or maybe there's something going on in the background and I want to be heard, so then I'll raise my voice. But other than that, I'll speak in a very soft, just cool, chill type of way, and that to me feels very, very normal. And when I have to raise my voice, it's almost as though I have to shout or something. Like, you feel like you're screaming. You as an introvert, you've noticed this. You're talking to somebody else, and then they just they sort of start to fade out. They sort of start to lose you, and that's because the way you're projecting is not necessarily, you're not necessarily equipped with the right voice from the beginning naturally to deliver. So you have to work on that, of course. But as an introvert, just understand that does not come naturally. But yeah, so that's pretty much high stimulation. So just understand that if you're having trouble right now, you're an introvert, and you have trouble getting yourself involved in high stimulation environments, that's perfectly okay. That is perfectly okay. Don't worry about it. Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel like something's wrong with you, or that you're weird or anything like that. That's just part of being an introvert. So pretty much, if you can avoid those type of activities, or circumstances or environments where it's very stimulating, the stimulation is very high, there's always high music, there's always a lot of intensity going on. If you can avoid it completely, because there's really nothing there for you. There's no growth in those environments. And I've been in those environments, and I've purposefully put myself in those environments here and there, but it was mostly for experimental purposes. Like, I wanted to see what would happen if I actually put myself in those situations. And for the most part, I always had like my exit strategy, meaning that in case things did go wrong, I could always eject and pretty much be in the safe zone again. But I try to hold on as much as I can, and for the most part I usually stayed all the way through. There was a few exceptions where I just pretty much stepped out. I couldn't handle it no more because I just wasn't having a good week or a good day or something along those lines, so I really had something else to do. So I was like, you know what, I think that's the end of the experiment. I gotta go and handle stuff, because that's how introverts really work. And so for the most part, we're running on agendas, and we have a pretty busy schedule, and by busy schedule I mean, like, it's not necessarily always productive, but we're always doing something, right? Something that makes us feel good, something that makes us feel happy, and stuff like that around those lines. So for the most part, that's what happens. And so that's high stimulation. So how about shock content? So I have a big problem with shock content, and pretty much I hate shock content. I don't like shock content, because shock content is pretty much meant to do that. It's pretty much meant to just shock you. So just imagine, just like any other, just like the regular shock. You get shocked with electricity. It feels pretty like it gives you it shocks you. It makes you sort of wake up. Maybe you having some thought or anything, and they shock you. You're present. You're there. You just realize what happened. That is not something that you can just ignore. You can't just get shocked and just pretty much ignore it. You'll draw your attention to that shock no matter what. And so shock content, for the most part, is done in that manner. It's pretty much done in a manner where they're trying to get your attention real quick, and they're trying to retain your attention for perhaps a few seconds, maybe a minute or two. And so that's what happens with that. My problem with shock content is that shock content is usually made to last very, very little. So maybe like 1 or 2 minutes, and that's pretty much it. And this, what it does to your brain is that it trains you to have a lower attention span, meaning that you can't even listen to a person for more than 2 minutes, because that's pretty much how long you're able to retain it now. And and guess what? You're watching this video right now. You probably haven't even made it to this point, because who knows? You probably fell off in the first 2 minutes, and that's quite of unfortunate, because usually, that's where the jams start to come in. But here's the thing about short content. Short content is pretty much, if anything, short content, only extroverts pretty much respond to short content. Introverts, for the most part, don't respond to short content, because we understand that this is just short content. This is just content that what it's really meant to do is really just, give you a little piece of the pie. It's not really meant to give you a full, rounded perspective of whatever the topic is. So, given that this is something educational, of course, if it's entertainment, then who really cares? There's a lot of short content out there that's meant for, the majority of it is entertainment. For the most part, you see somebody like throw themselves off a building, or, do some crazy stuff, burn something on fire, or break something that, should probably never be broken in the first place. Or, you see someone say something to that other person, you're like, wow, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. And stuff like that. It's very just entertaining. It's very like what the hell is that? It's very just dull, stuff like that. And so, for the most part, I'm pretty much against short content. I don't think short content is really good. I think short content is actually pretty harmful. And the thing is that maybe you, as an introvert, you might have seen short content. Perhaps you feel the same way. You see this short content, you see this content for like 1 or 2 minutes, and you're like, what the hell is this shit? And you just feel like, oh my God, like whatever, it's like, it's kind of stupid, really. And then you have an extrovert go and come to you and be like, hey man, look at this video, check out this video, 1 to 2 minute video, and they're like cracking up, and you're just like, that is just ridiculous. It's kind of stupid. It's like, why would even somebody create such a thing, And yeah, and don't get me wrong, I mean, people can get very, very successful just creating short content, And so that's that. So, final points here. What I want you to understand as an introvert is that high stimulation and short content are just two things that we just don't respond very well to. So if you're an introvert, this is something you're gonna have to embrace and really go with it. Understand it, embrace it, and really, don't be embarrassed. If somebody else comes up to you and they try to invite you to a high stimulation environment, don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to say, fuck off. And I don't want to be part of your little party or event. I don't care who's going. I don't care how meaningful this is. I'm looking out for myself first, as opposed to looking out for your precious little event and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, yes, your precious event will take place anyway. And it's not like you really need my presence, to be there. For the most part, introverts are not really required to be there. And if anything, introverts are for the most part involved in the back end of pretty much the event. So we're the ones pretty much putting the whole event together in the back, So as I said, with the DJ, with the speakers and everything, perhaps we're the ones actually doing all the cabling behind the scenes. We're setting up the speakers, make sure they're blasting in the right direction, make sure they're adjusted as far as like the sound goes. That way the sound is distributed evenly, or is distributed specifically at a certain location where, who knows, maybe that's where the stage is at, making sure the lights are good, making sure the floor is good, making sure the software of the DJ is working properly with those speakers and stuff like that, So for the most part, we're just, working behind the scenes, making sure that those things are okay, because extroverts at the end of the day just sort of want to enjoy themselves and enjoy the experience and just pretty much just have a good time, as opposed to us, we have a good time by setting everything up and really, delivering a good process and being able to make sure that the experience itself is delivered in the best possible way, but we're not really there to consume the experience. We've had our experience by setting up the experience. And so, yeah, that's it for today. And as far as short content goes, if you don't like it, you don't like it. Just tell the other person that you don't like it, and you don't feel guilty, don't feel bad that you don't like short content, that you don't like to watch 1 or 2 minute videos, because they're just foolish. They're just like trying to make you laugh. They're trying to get you engaged. At the end of the day, if you don't like it, you don't like it. You could always ignore it and send them off. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. And thank you to everybody who subscribed recently. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.